an accident. I meant to hit the retake thumbnail button, and instead I hit the go live. So, all right, I thought I'd do a little bit of a different version here. I'm gonna do an Ask Me Anything, where you can do just that, ask me anything. Give you an update on my hair. Here we are outside. Here's what my hair looks like. Yeah, this is my hair. So currently, I think most all the transplanted hair has fallen out from my last procedure. And now this is, here, let me show you the back. Yeah, so I think all the transplanted hair has fallen out. And now this is just my old transplanted hair that's now like my previously transplanted hair. So here's something that's I think is really interesting, is that you can actually very clearly see how bald I should be right now. Because if I show you here, so you see here the top of my head, you can very clearly see like the non-transplanted area, right? It's like here. And you can very clearly see that if it wasn't for the transplanted hair that I have all through there, that I would literally be right now at my age a complete, like a horseshoe, totally bald guy, which is what my dad was when he was my age right now. So if you take a look at this, you can literally clearly see that like I should be a bald guy. I should have no hair here. This is like, yeah, because you can very clearly see the actual transplanted area, like, or non-transplanted area of like my original thickness and density. That's where it is, right here. So it's so clear here what, like, where I should be. But what's really interesting is that because, you know, I've had all these hair transplants. Let me grab this here. You know, like, and it looks like we're outside and this is like really bad lighting. Trust me, like the worst, because you've only got direct sunlight from overhead. But yeah, it's not really like that bad. It looks way worse in this picture than it does in person. But yeah, what I think is most interesting is that you can clearly see that I should be a bald guy. But once this all grows in, even if I didn't have any new transplanted hair grow in, I still would look pretty good. I still, like, you know, with my hair grown out, I still would look, yeah, like pretty, you know, decent head of hair kind of guy. It's my daughter there with the TV watching Chinese television. So here's a little tip for you guys, totally unrelated to hair. And what's up, Killian? I saw, yeah, good to see you, man. My friend Killian, the hair chemist, he's got lots of great info on his channel. You should make sure, he just left a comment, make sure to click on him and check out his channel, the hair chemist. We've done some videos together, which blew my mind on Finasteride and minoxidil and drugs in general. And yeah, it's definitely worth checking those videos out. There's 2 videos on my channel and 1 on his, on oral minoxidil and Finasteride and sort of the makeup of those drugs. So, yeah, okay, tip. If you guys have kids, so the thing is, my daughter, she's half, or like basically half Chinese, right? Her mom speaks Chinese. Her mom is kind of mixed, but her mom speaks Chinese and is from China. And so she's growing up here in the US, and so we were kind of unsure how she would learn to speak Chinese, you know, fluently, because she has no one to speak Chinese with. There's like no Chinese kids around here, really. I found her one friend, fortunately, recently, but we really wanted her to speak Chinese. So I thought, well, she really wants to watch TV, and as a parent, it's so helpful having TV. Like, it's like free babysitting, basically. It's like when you can't get a babysitter, you have a TV. And I know that's kind of unfortunate, but that's just the way that it is. We've not let her have a phone. You know, she's never looked at any kind of screen other than a TV. No computer, no phone, no tablet, but the TV, we've got that. So we decided to only let her watch Chinese cartoons. So she's never watched anything except for Chinese cartoons since she was born, basically. And so she loves TV, but she can't understand it unless she learns to like understand it, you know? And so now she speaks fluent Chinese. Like her Chinese is probably even, I mean, her English is, you know, as good as any kid her age, but like her Chinese is probably even better from watching Chinese TV. So if you really want your kid to speak another language, well then only, I would say, from the time that they're really little, only let them watch cartoons, you know, and TV in that language, because they're going to want to watch TV. Kids love TV. Then, you know, we get to justify it because we think, okay, well, she watches TV like 1 or 2 hours a day. That's her language lessons for the day, you know? So anyway, totally off subject. Sorry about that. I'll start reading you guys' comments. But that's just a little tip in case any of you guys have kids or are going to, which I kind of hope you do, because it is, it's kind of like partly what we were put on the planet to do, make babies. That's why we're getting these hairs, right? So we can meet pretty girls to make beautiful babies. Anthony says, was it worth to do 2,500 grafts since you only have 1,500 now, considering that your hairline was pretty good before the surgery? Wouldn't that perhaps have been wise to do less and save more in case? Okay, so what Anthony's saying is, like, I did 2,500 grafts for this past surgery. Should I have done less? I don't think so. The thing is, I said that I very safely have at least 1,500 grafts left in the future to do, you know, additional cases with. But the thing is, that's not a perfect number. That's like easily 1,500. If I wanted to start having any noticeable depletion of donor area, I could go way over that, you know? My friend Jay International, he was looking at my donor hair. Here, let me show you here. Yeah, he was looking at it, and he was like, dude, you could do 6,000 grafts, you know, with your donor hair the way that it is. As you see this, I mean, this is all, like, completely undepleted. Like, they didn't even take any hair from here. So, honestly, I bet that I have more than 1,500 grafts left that I could do. It's just that Dr. McGrath and his team, they're very conservative when it comes to taking hair from donor area. They really don't want their patients to have that moth-eaten kind of look, like, at any cost. So they're very conservative. So they conservatively said 1,500 grafts that I could still go back and do. But if I really needed it, I think I could do more. That's not to mention also, I'm in the lucky position that I have so many beard grafts. So like crown area and stuff like that, I could do beard as well. So I'm really not worried at all at this point about how much donor hair I'm gonna have available, you know, over the course of my life. And the thing is, I really think that after this surgery, after this new hair grows in, because my hair is really not that bad. Like, I mean, look, like, I got a lot of hair up there. I mean, it's buzzed now, but like, there's a lot of hair there. And this is without the new hair growing in, right? So I think after this new hair grows in, it's gonna look really good. And that's gonna take me, you know, quite a ways into the future. Sorry, that was a long answer, Anthony, but hopefully that helps. Blend the sides and back, man, with the transplanted area. That's what I do. Sides back. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Hey, Joe Mortimer says, hey, David, cool jacket. What's the brand? I've been looking for a good leather jacket now, and I have now I have hair, and I think I could pull it off. Okay, cool, man. I actually bought this jacket in Milan, Italy, Milano. Yeah, years ago. Just I was randomly walked into a shop in Milan and bought it, and it's one of my 2 favorite leather jackets. I've got 2 that I really like. It says Absolute Joy is the name of the brand, like absolute with no E. Yeah, just it's some kind of just random made. It is. I'm pretty sure it's made in Italy. Yeah, it's a made in Italy jacket. So I don't even know if that's like a real brand or not, but I think it's lambskin, so it feels really nice. Absolute Joy is the brand, but I don't know if that's gonna help because yeah, I bought this. Actually, it would be longer than that. Maybe it's like 10 or 12 years ago in Milan. It was a long time ago. I've had it for a long time. Travis says, how many hairs grafts did you get with each one of your strip surgeries? So I can give you an approximate. I think probably about 10,000, and then maybe 6,000 or 7,000 with the 3. So it was like, it's hard to know because the surgeon who did my first 2 surgeries, he exaggerates numbers a lot. Like now he does surgeries and he tells people he gets them 15,000 hairs in a surgery and stuff in a strip surgery. And like, I just don't believe those numbers. So I'm going to guess actually if I'm what I really think and not what he told me that he got 10,000 for each of the first 2 surgeries. But I think he kind of exaggerated. So I'm going to go with like 8,000 or 9,000 for each of those 2 surgeries. And then maybe, yeah, in the 7,000, you know, for maybe the 3rd surgery, something like that. So somewhere in the 8,000 to 10,000, you know, or even 7,000 to 10,000 per surgery. And I had 3 strip surgeries. All right, questions. Why does your hair transplant look so thin when short? Singh says, why does it look so thin? Yeah, you know, I have a lot of bald area. Like, so most all of the hair that's on the top of my head is transplanted, you know, and yeah, it does look fairly thin. So the other thing is that it's all about contrast, and that this hair right here is super, super thick, like insanely dense right here. And so this hair looks much thinner because of how, like, so if you look at this, because of how dark this is on the sides and how thick it is, this looks even thinner. So if you look at this right here, like, look at this hair there, that looks really thin too, but that's fine, that's normal hair. So actually, like, this thickness looks quite similar to like this thickness here, if that makes sense, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. So like that is not transplanted area, but still, you know, this in there looks like much thinner, and I think that's why. So the thing that makes my hair look so much thinner as well on top is that this area right here is just the darkest, thickest part. It's like super, super dark and thick. So when I shave my head, it's kind of the way that it looks. But we'll see once it all grows in. Also, I'm still recovering from surgery, you know. So Steven says, any thoughts on PRP? I mean, I've never had PRP done to me. It seems to be very hit or miss, PRP. So, you know, for hair growth. So yeah, if I was gonna do it, I would do the Zoflow exosomes injections over the PRP. And by the way, all exosomes treatments are not created equal. So that's a really important thing. So the one that I definitely believe in is the Direct Biologics Zoflow, you know, technology for which they're using a lot for hair now. Let me see here. Next thoughts. Vocal One says, just got on Finasteride, still in my car, so scared to take it. Well, yeah, don't leave it in your car if it's hot, because it'll probably go bad. So, yeah, so I would go ahead and work on doing that, taking that. Don't be scared to take it. I think that's, like, yeah, a little, I don't want to say ridiculous, but, you know, the vast majority of people recover from any side effects that they do have, and most people don't have side effects. I've never had any side effects. My brothers have never had any side effects. Most of my friends haven't. Does a diffuse thinner need to worry about shock loss when trying to get a hair transplant to increase density? Yes, a diffuse thinner should worry about shock loss when getting a hair transplant. All right, why is a hair transplant? Your hair right now still looks better than mine. I would say thanks, Kelly, but I don't want to say thank you at your expense. So thanks, I guess. Yeah, you'll never, that's right, Mike. You'll never get the density you had before a hair transplant. Yeah, that's true. You can really just get the appearance of density, you know, and so much of that has to do with lighting. Like right now, I'm outside. I've got pretty bright light, and like even these angles, right? Like my hair looks way worse right here. But then if I go over, we'll find a better, we're all outside. But yeah, so my hair looks like much better right here. So we're still on my porch, just in kind of a different spot. And then if I go inside with the sound of cartoons, so totally, like look at that, like right there, my hair looks like totally thick. So it's all about all about where you're at and the lighting. It has so much to do with it. So yeah, here. So it's pretty bright in here, right? But now my hair looks like way thicker. So the overhead lighting outside is definitely not a benefit. To density of hair transplants. If you guys have any non-hair related questions, feel free to pop those off too. What's up, Illy? Just shave it. Shave it off, bro. That's what I did, dude. I already shaved it. I just shaved it all off, bro. All right, I thought until I get another couple interesting questions, I thought I'd play this song that I wrote. This song. Hey, what's going on? My beautiful neighbor. Yeah, until I get. Do you have any scars from FUT from the past in the back? Oh yeah, of course. You want to see my scars? Can you see the scars? There's a scar. There's a scar right there. Or there, maybe it is. Can you guys see? Hopefully you can see my scars. Yeah. Oh, Prince, this, oh man, nothing compares to you. I don't remember how to play that on guitar off the top of my head. Here's another Prince song for you. It was only last June when her old man ran away. She couldn't stop crying 'cause she knew he was gone to stay. 10:35 on a lonely Friday night. She was standing by the bar, she was looking alright. I asked her if she wanted to dance, and she said that all she wanted was a good man who wanted to know if I thought I was qualified. Yeah, I said, baby, don't waste your time. I know what's on your mind. I may be qualified for a one-night stand, but I can never take the place of your man. Oh, the place of your man. Really, we gotta get a plane? Can't believe a plane is interrupting me. Hurt me so bad when she told me with tears in her eyes. All right, Travis says, what's your thoughts on resistance training contributing to hair loss because of increasing testosterone or DHT, even if you're taking finasteride? Should I worry? I would say no. I would say not to worry about that. I just think that it's just, yeah, it's too minimal, I think, to worry about. Let's face it, we all want to exercise. Like, exercise is too important a part of our lives to just stop exercising because it, might have this minor increase in hair loss. And one, I don't think that it does anyway. Trying to find like a good place. Don't you love, this is my house. Aren't the windows? I think the windows are really pretty. Let's go down here. Maybe this is better. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry about that, Travis. I think just exercise. Like I exercise personally, and I don't worry about that. I just think that, yeah. I've looked into it a little bit, and yeah, exercise is important, and you want to feel good and stuff. Unfortunately, with the technology and different surgeries available to us and all these things, you can have hair regardless. So I'm not going to stop exercising. Jaron says, I'm getting an FUT in a month. I'm excited for the procedure, but I'm wondering, when can I expect to be able to rock a buzz cut to sort of normalize the appearance of my hair transplant? Can you explain in detail just a little bit more, Jaron? A couple of things. So I'm guessing you're getting okay. Oh, you said I'm getting an FUT in a month. I'm excited for procedure. So if you're getting an FUT, why do you want to rock a buzz cut? FUT and buzz cuts don't really go together well. the other thing is you can honestly rock any hairstyle you want at any time. I mean, hey, I'm rocking this like shaved head thing. Yeah, and I just had this really pretty girl hitting on me like 2 days ago at Lowe's. So, you know, I don't think that you can rock anything that you want. That just comes down to you and your charming abilities. But yeah, FUT and I wouldn't say if you're looking to rock a buzz cut as your permanent hairstyle of choice, then FUT is probably not for you. Next question. Roger says, explains Prince guitar. Yeah, Prince is my favorite artist ever. I love Prince. I never meant to cause you any sorrow. I never meant to cause you any pain. Only one time when I hear Jaren asking. Jaren's asking. I'm more so asking when I can cut my hair to a shorter length to complement my new incoming hair. I eventually want longer hair. Okay. Asking when I can cut my hair. Complement my new incoming hair. I wouldn't. I would say just kind of maybe keep your hair like shorter. Don't buzz it. Don't like do the buzz cut thing. Because it's not all gonna grow in at the same time, you know? And so if you, for instance, give yourself a buzz cut at 4 months, once you've started, usually 3 months is when hair starts growing in. If you do it at 4 months, well, then you're still gonna have hair grow in. You might have the most hair grow in at 5 months. And so it's never gonna be even, you know? So I would say to look the best, you probably should keep your hair a little bit longer and just, yeah, I probably wouldn't do the buzz cut thing. I've done that before. I know what you mean, because you're like, hey, I just want to like cut it off. I mean, I'm even like in that position right now because I'm like just from the surgery and, you know, them kind of, I'm sure that hairs were kind of cut during the surgery and stuff. I have a lot of like hair on the top of my head that's not the same length right now, even with this buzz cut. So I'm kind of like, oh, maybe I should just buzz it even more to kind of like even it out. So I know that feeling, but I'm personally trying to resist that feeling because I know that if I'll just wait another month for this, what's there to just even grow back to where, you know, it has some length to it, that'll actually probably look better, even though it'll be annoying because for a year I'll have all this hair coming in at various lengths. Does that answer your question, Jaren? Hopefully that does. I only want to answer your question about your buzz cut hair. Cost of the compounded Finasteride oral minoxidil tablet. Does prescription renewal require a visit to doctor each time? That's a great question, Joey. So I take this Finasteride oral minoxidil tablet, and I think, so here, okay, first answer to the question is no, you don't have to. I never have to go in to get another doctor's appointment. So the prescription was written to me over the phone. Obviously, I was a client of Dr. Graft's, but he's written it for lots of friends of mine. And so they just call, they do a little video. It's like a FaceTime consultation. And then the prescription is written. And then once it's written, it's refilled indefinitely for the rest of your life. So that's it. Like you get it prescribed to you, and indefinitely the pharmacy Stonegate has like the permission of Dr. McGrath to renew the prescriptions. It's like a indefinite thing. So yeah, you're good on that. Cost, okay, I need to just look up what the cost is. It's automatically charged to my credit card every, like, because you get a 3-month supply. And so I don't know, since like the first time I paid for it, whatever that was, a year and a half ago, whatever, whenever I got on it, I've never asked about it, and I just tell them bill my card. It's like an automatic thing. I think it's like $130 for a 3-month supply. I think that's what it is. It's definitely less than $200 for a 3-month supply, 100%. Because if it was more than $200, I feel like I would pay attention. But when something's like less than $200, I don't really pay attention. So yeah, if anyone's planning on stealing my credit card, that's just a note for you out there watching me on YouTube. don't charge anything more than $200. If it's under $200, just like go to the gas station, buy yourself some nerd rope, and I'm not going to notice. You can probably go buy some nerd rope every day at 7-Eleven. I won't know. You can use my card for free forever, okay? It'll never be paused. I think it's $135 though. Nucrete says, how many grafts have you transplanted in your life, and did you transplant on the Vortex? Yes, I've transplanted some on the Vortex. I think probably I've had like 8,000 grafts done. No, less than that. Yeah, maybe I would say like 7,000. Yeah, probably like 7,000 to 8,000, something like that. 7 or 8,000. Basic Gamer says, hi David, were you a diffused thinner before your hair transplants? Also, I was wondering about Steve Cook's hair loss since he says he lost all of his hair at 18. How bad exactly was Steve's hair? Any photos? So yeah, Steve never took photos back then. Obviously, that was back at a time when people weren't taking photos regularly. I mean, when I was a kid, there's probably like, 5 pictures of me when I was 6 years old, because camera was expensive and developing film was expensive, and like we didn't even own a camera, So yeah, Steve doesn't have any. Also, it's kind of funny, like you guys probably know because you're all in the same position as me, but like when you're going bald and you're looking your worst, you don't like taking pictures of yourself with your bald head. And so even me, when I was at my worst hair-wise, I don't have any pictures of myself. And so that's been a problem for my channel because I want to show like before and after photos, but I actually don't have any real good before photos. So I've just used like the best, the best meaning the worst photos that I can find, but they're actually not the worst because I never took pictures without a hat on, where you could see my head back at that time. Anyway, it's funny. Rum Coffee says, do you think 4,500 grafts will cover with good results a Norwood 5 to 6 baldness? 4,500 grafts will cover, that all depends on your like feeling about 45, about what your good results are. 4,500 grafts, I think on, Norwood 5 or 6, you'll have like a lot more hair, so you should look at all the grafts grow way better. But will you still have some thinness? Yeah, probably, but you will look like a different person, so it will be, that's a ton. Now 4,500 grafts in one session, I'd be kind of careful about that, because there's not a lot of people that want to do, especially I don't know if you're doing FUT or FUE. Either way though, 4,500 grafts is a lot to do in one session. Yeah, so I'd try and split that up if I was you. Because if it's FUE, you're gonna blown a lot of your load, so to speak. Gilbert says, $300 272 diodes laser cap from Alibaba, or $1,000 plus Iris store cap, or 272 diodes, $2,500 capillus cap. Okay, this is a good question. Not one that I have a really good answer to, but yeah, so you're basically saying I can spend $300 and get the Alibaba cap, $1,000 get the Iris store cap, 272 diodes and get the or 2,500 and get the capillus cap. It's a good question. So I will give you, I use the Iris store cap. Now you could say, well, you're sponsored by Iris Store. No wonder you use the Iris Store cap. That's totally true. So, any answer that I give you that's other than, that says anything positive about Iris Store, you're going to say that I'm biased, or you might, some people will, that I'm biased and that, and that they would be accurate. My thought is, if it was me, I would buy the Iris Store one. And I guess I can give you my reasoning behind that. One, I've used the capillus. I actually bought the capillus myself. I used to have a capillus, and I now use the Iris Store. So if I thought that the capillus was way better, I would just keep using the capillus regardless, I gave the capillus to my brother Ben. So my thought on the Alibaba thing, I know that iRestore has spent a lot of money on research, and the research measuring their LEDs and the LEDs versus the lasers and the combination of those two lights and the way that they're combined within their helmets. They've spent a ton of money on research developing that and done a lot of third-party testing on that. So if it was me, you know, versus buying just a random cap on Alibaba, maybe the Alibaba one is just as good. It could be. It will save you $700. But like $300 is still a lot of money too. So if the $300 one is not the right like wavelengths, you know, and it hasn't been tested properly and the research hasn't been done, then you would have just wasted $300 and your time and all of that kind of stuff. So like, I trust that iRestore has done quite a lot of research on that based on the things that I've talked to them about and the things that I've read. That said, I'm sure Capillus will tell you that they have the best laser cap. Regardless, I still personally think laser is definitely something that, I mean, I do it personally. I wouldn't waste my time on it if I thought it wasn't helping. So, yeah, I think it's worth doing the laser, but I can't tell you really what to buy, you know? But $1,000 versus $2,500, and I know that iRestore is quite good, then I probably just buy the iRestore. That's where I'm at. All right, cool. How can you tell the difference between a mature hairline or a receding hairline? I'm 26. I can't tell which one I have. Oh, that is a good question. Mature hairline versus receding hairline. I think it really, I would look at your dad and how bald he is. Like my dad was completely bald on the top of his head. If you've seen him, I put a couple pictures of him in my videos. If you go through enough of them, you'll see him at some point. He was totally bald. So, like I knew that that's what I was headed for when I started going bald already in my early 20s. And like my hairline, I didn't like it. Like as soon as it started really receding, like I was like, this is definitely like not a good look. Like it looks like I have a receding hairline, you know? So if you're 26, that's not too young. You know, that's an important time, like 26 to 35 kind of period is like probably when you're gonna be finding a mate and all of that. So that's when you're gonna really look your best. So if you've got the right kind of donor hair and you've got the money, you might want to consider getting a hair transplant, and you're on some preventative hair loss treatment, and especially depending on if your dad is like totally bald or not that much, it might be something that you want to do cosmetically because you want to look your best. So I wouldn't worry too much about if it's a receding hairline or if it's like a mature hairline. I would worry about being on preventative hair loss treatments, what your dad looks like, so you can kind of consider what you might be going towards for planning your surgeries, and then what you want to look like, and then just go from there, you know? Does that answer your question? Let me know. Hopefully that's helpful. Oh, and Jan's on medication. Yeah, so if you're already taking well to medication and everything, then yeah, I think you should just care about what you want to look like, you know? Alexandra says, what do you think about stem cell transplant at Hair Science Clinic in the Netherlands? I have not looked that up. So, oh, I do think I know what you're talking about. I think I did read some stuff on that. Is this the one where they say that they will do the hair transplant and then all of your donor hair will grow back? Is that the one? Because a couple guys have written me about that, and then I researched it, and I don't believe that at all. Yeah, I don't think that it's true. Otherwise, why wouldn't every hair transplant surgeon in the world be doing that? Because, you know, if that's the one, there's this one clinic that claims that there's a couple actually, I think. They claim they're doing their own special thing, and all your donor hair grows back, like from where they take it from. And that's, I think, just BS. So, yeah, if that's the one, I wouldn't go to them for even a surgery, because that's just not true. Like your donor hair is not going to grow back. There's not a way to do that. Otherwise, every hair transplant surgeon in the world would do that. Gilbert says, can I get a hair transplant for Norwood 7 surgery? Just don't use any minoxidil or finasteride after my surgery. I would definitely not suggest that unless you just are cool with having super, like, fine hair and no density, really, you know? Doing Norwood 7 hair transplant and not using minoxidil or finasteride. I don't think I'd suggest that. Might be better just get a hair system. What Norwood should you be without a hair transplant? I don't, for what exactly, Mike? Hi, David. John Doe says, what do you think about LeBron James hair transplant? It turned out so bad. Hopefully you're familiar with him. Yeah, I've watched some of Matt Dominance's video on LeBron James and his hair transplant. I don't really have, much comment on that, though. I haven't gotten into the whole, like, analyzing celebrity hair transplants thing. I don't know. Yeah, maybe at some point I will. But, there's a million reasons why hair transplants can go bad, you know? And, yeah. Maybe he wasn't taking any preventive hair loss stuff. Maybe his, hairs didn't grow. Maybe he was a popper. Maybe he drank a lot of alcohol and coffee the night before he got a hair transplant and did a lot of popping and it turned out badly. Like, maybe he had super strong progressive hair loss genes and it's just kept getting worse. I mean, I don't know. Nukri says, did your not transplanted hair stop balding or are you stopping it with medications? Yeah, so if I stop taking medication, my transplanted hair will start to slowly miniaturize as well. I realize that. Travis says, thoughts on Bruno Ferreira? Yep, so he is my friend Rolandis's hair transplant surgeon, and he seems to be a great hair transplant surgeon. So, yeah, if you can get a surgery done by him, I think more power to you. It's probably going to turn out really good. What do you think about PRP? Is it effective? Do you use it? I've never used PRP. That wouldn't be my personal choice based on what I know of PRP. It wouldn't be my personal choice to do that with the other available options. Okay, cool. We're going to go with the last question there. Last one is, okay, we'll do last two actually. Giampiero and Travis. Thanks for your response, David. Also, my second question is, what are your thoughts on generic Lonitin? I couldn't get name brand. Yeah, so I think probably the generic is better than nothing. And generic is not always bad anyway. I would just try and get generic from, if you can find out like what country it's made in, and if it's made in like a more advanced country with higher FDA regulation, then that's probably better. My friend Killian was saying that there's a lot of recalls, for instance, on drugs out of India. And so there's just a lot less regulation in certain countries. Yeah. So, Kelly, you're most welcome for the video. Thank you for saying thanks. Travis, what is a fair price, last question, per graft, FUT and FUE? I don't think, one, I try not to get too much into pricing stuff just because, like, I don't know. I know that's an important thing for people to consider, but there's so many variables around that to a person's, like lifestyle and importance and location and all those types of things that I think it's, like this question, what is a fair price per graft? I think that a fair price is whatever good quality is. It's like asking, what is a fair price for a guitar, right? What is a fair price for a guitar? Like, how do you answer that? This guitar is $2,500 is how much it costs. Is that a fair price? I don't know how much like they like the materials cost. I don't know like how much research went into developing this shape of the guitar. I don't know how much they pay their staff. I know where they're located, I think it was fair. It sounds really good. So I feel like if they charged $3,500, I think it would be fair for this guitar because it's a really great sounding guitar. I'm really happy with it. So I think a fair price is whatever any price that you pay that you feel like you got your money's worth, you know? Yeah. I think if you feel like you got your money's worth, then it was fair. I wish that I would have paid more money for my first 2 surgeries. I wish that I would have gone to a more expensive surgeon, because looking back now, I think I would have gotten better results for my first 2 surgeries if I had gone to like a more well-respected surgeon like a Hassan and Wong, instead of the Looney Tunes guy that I went to that got committed to a mental institution shortly after my 2nd surgery. But I didn't know that, you know? So I went to him partly because he was cheaper, and that wasn't the right decision. So I don't think it was a fair price for my surgeries. You know, and he wasn't cheap either. It still cost, I don't know, it was like $12,000-$14,000 or something per surgery. But I still don't think that it was a fair price, because I don't think that I got what I paid for. Yeah, so that's that. Cool, guys. Well, I think we're done. This is stuff, fellas. Sorry, David. Last question. I have a really bad dermatitis, and it comes and goes. Would that ruin my chance of a good hair transplant? You would have to ask a great hair transplant surgeon about that, and they might need to do some kind of a biopsy on you and send it to a lab or something like that. So that's really a question for a doctor for sure, not something I'm an expert in. All right, guys, well, take care. It's fun chatting with you, and hope it was helpful. See you later.